How far would you go to secure a job in a dying market? For most people, it means polishing a resume. For you, Mansu, it means turning into a cold-blooded killer. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are breaking down the 2025 dark comedy thriller No Other Choice. Trust me, this job hunt gets literally cutthroat. Our story kicks off in a scene of pure, effortless bliss. Inside a bustling paper factory, a veteran expert named Mansu is happily celebrating with his co-workers. He's just received a prestigious award and a fresh eel to honor his 25 years of loyal service to the company. Later that evening, Mansu returns to his beautiful childhood home to host a celebratory backyard barbecue with his family, riding the absolute high of his career achievements. Here we meet his practical wife, Mi-ri, her teenage stepson, Si-won, and their young daughter, Ri-won. Ri-won is an autistic cello prodigy who doesn't speak standard sentences. Instead, she only communicates by repeating other people's words right back to them. But this absolute perfection is just a setup for a massive fall. The family's peaceful life is suddenly turned upside down when the paper company is abruptly acquired by an American corporation looking to ruthlessly downsize the workforce. Mansu tries to courageously step up and defend his fellow workers during a tense corporate meeting, but the heartless new management doesn't care about loyalty. They tell him they have no other choice and hand him a pink slip instead. Devastated but desperate to keep up appearances, Mansu goes home and hides the full truth from his family. He confidently reassures them that with his extensive expertise, he will easily find another paper-making job within 3 months. Cut to 13 months later, and the promise is completely broken. Mansu is still entirely unemployed. The compounding psychological stress manifests physically as an agonizing, constant toothache that he simply cannot afford to treat. With their savings completely drained, the practical Mi-ri takes charge of their survival. She slashes their expenses by cancelling her own tennis lessons, halting Ri-won's advanced cello training, and forcing them to put their dream house on the market. To make matters worse, they are forced to farm out their beloved family dogs to relatives. It's a heartbreaking move that causes young Ri-won to emotionally shut down even further, losing her primary source of comfort. Desperate to bring bread to the table, Mi-ri takes a part-time job as a dental assistant for a suave and wealthy dentist named Jin-ho. This immediately triggers Mansu's internal paranoia and deep financial jealousy. Hoping to secure a high-level position, Mansu applies to Moon Paper, his former company's chief rival. Instead of a fair shot, he is ruthlessly rejected and deeply insulted by the arrogant hiring manager, Seon-chul, who mocks his age. In a fit of blind rage, Mansu follows Seon-chul outside and almost bashes his head in with a heavy potted plant. He stands there, shaking, but manages to stop himself at the very last second. While sitting in his greenhouse, Mansu has a dark, analytical epiphany. Simply killing the manager won't fix anything because there will always be an endless line of more qualified applicants ranked higher than him. He realizes that if he truly wants to reclaim his middle-class life, he must systematically eliminate his top competition, so the company has absolutely no other choice but to hire him. To identify his specific rivals, Mansu posts a completely fake, highly lucrative job advertisement online. Naturally, this attracts applications from the country's top unemployed paper industry experts. After meticulously sorting through the applications, he narrows down his chief targets to 2 highly qualified men who stand directly in his way, a desperate drunkard named Beom-mo and a devoted father named Si-jo. To prepare for his grim mission, Mansu sneaks into his family storage room and retrieves his late father's old, rusty handgun from the Vietnam War. Mansu drives out to the woods to spy on his first target, Beom-mo, but his high-stakes stakeout goes horribly, hilariously wrong when a venomous snake bites him in the tall grass. He passes out cold and wakes up inside Beom-mo's house. He is being treated by Beom-mo's highly dissatisfied and bitter wife, Ara, who has absolutely no idea who this random man in a suit really is. Later that night, once he recovers his strength, Mansu sneaks back into the house and corners an intoxicated Beom-mo at gunpoint, demanding he formally withdraw his job application. Suddenly, the confrontation turns into an absolute circus. Byonmo accidentally discovers evidence of A-Ra's secret affair right then and there, leading to a chaotic three-way brawl for the gun. Fed up with her husband's constant failures, A-Ra wrestles the gun away and ruthlessly shoots Byonmo dead herself. A terrified Man-Soo panics and flees into the night, leaving the chaos behind. A-Ra and her secret lover quickly set out to bury Byonmo's body in the woods, allowing Man-Soo to later sneak back to the scene and recover his father's weapon completely scot-free. Shaken by the close call, Man-Soo arrives incredibly late to a costumed Halloween party, only to suffer a massive blow to his ego when he spots Miri happily dancing with her handsome boss, Jin-ho. Driven by escalating desperation and jealousy, Man-Soo quickly moves on to his second chief competitor, Choi Si-jo, staking him out at the local shoe store where he currently works a menial shift. Man-Soo is horrified to discover that Si-jo is actually a kind, hard-working, and deeply devoted father who is just trying to provide for his own family, perfectly mirroring Man-Soo's own struggles. Despite his growing guilt, Man-Soo decides he cannot back down. He tricks Si-jo into staying late at the store and later feigns car trouble on an isolated, pitch-black road. When the unsuspecting Si-jo kindly pulls over to help him, a conflicted Man-Soo closes his eyes, pulls the trigger, and shoots him dead before loading the heavy corpse into his trunk. Man-Soo drives the body back to his property and hides it inside his greenhouse, planning to use a loud chainsaw to dismember the remains and bury them deep beneath a large bonsai tree. Meanwhile, family chaos strikes from an unexpected angle. His stepson Si-won and his friend Dong-ho are arrested by the police for stealing expensive iPhones from Dong-ho's father's electronics store. Man-Soo and Miri discover that Dong-ho's father is secretly using his electronics store to carry out his own infidelities. Showing a cold, new, ruthless edge, the couple blackmails him into forcing his own son Dong-ho to take the entire blame, completely clearing Si-won. That same night, Si-won sneaks onto the roof for a smoke and is permanently traumatized. Looking directly through the glass, he witnesses Man-Soo covered in blood, trying to saw through Si-jo's corpse with the roaring chainsaw. Plagued by horrifying nightmares about his father and the chainsaw, Si-won eventually breaks down and confesses everything to his mother. Miri immediately rushes out to dig up the garden tree to see the horror for herself. Realizing the authorities are closing in, Man-Soo's psychological rot peaks. Unable to bear his throbbing toothache any longer, he takes a pair of heavy pliers and brutally rips the rotting tooth straight out of his own mouth. To completely secure the job and protect his family's future, Man-Soo tracks down the Moon paper hiring manager, Seon-chul, sneaks into his home and brutally suffocates him with a piece of meat. He cleverly stages the entire crime scene to make it look like the arrogant manager tragically choked to death on his own vomit after a night of heavy drinking. Miri fiercely chooses to protect her husband and their livelihood. She lies to Si-won, claiming Man-Soo was just chopping up a dead pig to use as fertilizer for their apple tree. With the lie established, the couple reaches a dark, silent understanding. With all the top candidates and the manager completely eliminated, Moon Paper has absolutely no other choice but to hire the highly experienced Man-Soo as their brand new senior executive. The family successfully saves their beloved home and brings their dogs back. They watch in awe as Ri-won's cello, playing beautifully, improves after Miri realizes the girl's strange drawings aren't random. They are actually highly complex musical scores. To top it all off, the local detectives drop by to inform them that A-Ra has been caught. She pinned both murders on her runaway dead husband, lifting all remaining suspicion off Man-Soo permanently. In the chilling final shot, a cleanly dressed Man-Soo stands completely alone inside a massive, hyper-modern paper mill, run entirely by soulless robotic machines. He lied, blackmailed, and murdered to keep his place in society, only to realize he sacrificed his entire humanity just to be isolated in a system that could replace him at any moment. That was No Other Choice 2026. Talk about a cutthroat corporate ladder. What would you do if you suddenly lost your job after 25 years of loyal service? Would you go as far as Mansu did to protect your family's future? Or is there a moral line you would never cross? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.